Hey everyone, this is Chris here and welcome to video number 103 on Chill Tennis Entertainment. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the reason for why the next gen tennis players are not able to break through at the Grand Slam level and consistently win at least the Grand Slam titles. Now before we get into this topic, I would like to encourage you guys, if you are new to this channel, to please take a minute to hit the subscribe button down below. That'll keep you notified of any time we release additional content like this. And of course, if you enjoy videos like this, then please be sure to share this video with your friends. All right guys, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so now on to the topic of today's video, which is why can't the next gen tennis players break through at the Grand Slam level? And the way that I would like to start this video off is by first isolating who is the next gen. Like specifically, what group am I talking about when I say next gen players? Am I talking about people that are under 25, under 20 years old? Well, I'm actually not, because the next gen have kind of aged a little bit since the term first came out. But the term, I believe, goes back to 2015, and at the time it was in reference to players that were born in 1995 or later. So that specific group would include like Nick Kyrgios, Daniil Medvedev, Alexander Zverev, Stefanos Tsitsipas, players like that. Denis Shapovalov would be part of that. And then you'd have younger players like Yannick Sinner and Felix Auger-Aliassime as well in that group. And it would go all the way down to players like Carlos Alcaraz now, who are just starting to break through. They'll all be considered to be the next gen. But the next gen hasn't really been super successful at breaking through at the Grand Slam level. We've really only had one of those guys that's managed to do it, and that was Daniil Medvedev when he defeated Novak Djokovic last year in the finals of the US Open. So far, he's been the only player from this group to be able to win a Grand Slam title. Just for the record, Dominic Thiem is considered to be part of what I guess they call the lost gen, which is players born from like 1988 through 1994, something like that. So I guess he's considered to be a different category from this, if you will. Anyway, so part of the reason I think for this is because the next gen players, for the most part, they don't really have anything new that they're introducing to tennis. If you go all the way back to, let's say, like the 1980s, you've got Agassi, Becker, Edberg, players like that bursting out of the scene. Well, they really brought something new to the game back then, right? They brought a lot of power. They had an explosive playing style, Sampras with his big serve, Agassi with his big returns, his powerful ground strokes. It was stuff that really hadn't been seen before, and it caught the tour by surprise, so much so that those players were able to break through at a very, very young age and start winning Grand Slam titles. And then if you continue forward a little bit more, you get into the Federer time period. Well, Roger Federer was able to win a Grand Slam when he was 21 years old, and Leighton Hewitt, Marat Safin, David Nalbandian, players from his group were also making a breakthrough at a very, very young age. And this continued on with Rafael Nadal, making the finals of the French Open when he was 19 years old, winning his first Grand Slam title that year. And we kind of saw this trend for a long time, and in more recent years, we haven't really seen that so much. The younger players haven't been able to win a Grand Slam title. It's been taking them longer than ever now to win a Grand Slam title. I think Del Potro was the last player to win a Grand Slam that was under 24 years old when he won the US Open in 2009. And it's kind of an anomaly that a lot of people are wondering, well, why isn't this happening? Now, a lot of that has to do with the dominance of the big three, but I also feel that the technology has really stagnated a lot in the game. If you go back 40 years, that's 1982, most people were using wood rackets. Okay, now if you go back 30 years, most people were using, of course, graphite, but they would not have had access to the multi-filament strings, which, as we know, makes a huge difference at the pro level. And if we go back to 20 years, which is basically when I started playing tennis, the technology is really basically the same as what it is today. I was thinking about that a couple days ago. You know, the old rackets from when I was like 10 years old, they're really the same pretty much as what the players are using today. You know, at the rec level, but also at the pro level, there's just not that much of a change. The fitness level of all these guys is still super high. And since the next gen and the lost gen, if you will, aren't really bringing anything new to the game in terms of power or shots that we haven't seen before, they're not able to break through at that top level to win the Grand Slam, because as we know, the hardest thing to do is something that you've never done before. Okay, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, these guys have won lots and lots of Grand Slam titles, a minimum of 20 Grand Slam titles each. Okay, that's a lot of Grand Slam titles. These next gen guys have a history, and I'm sorry to say this, but they have a history of failing. And that's difficult to overcome, especially as you get into your mid to late 20s. Now with Nick Kyrgios, you know, he's one of the oldest members of this group, but I think he's about 27 years old. He's only made one Grand Slam final in his whole career, and most of these guys have not even managed to achieve that. So I would say the biggest thing holding them back, I think, is just that they don't have anything really unique in their game. And I also feel that the technology kind of staying the same has actually hurt them. I feel that if the technology had changed to something that would maybe favor a taller player who has powerful ground strokes, that it might be a lot easier for the next gen players to break through, but because of the fact that the courts are slow, that it's actually worked against them. Anyway guys, those are my thoughts as to why we haven't seen the next gen players make the breakthrough at the Grand Slam level. Please leave me a comment in the comment section down below and let me know when you think these guys are going to finally start to win Grand Slam titles. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you at the next one. This is Chris, signing out.